Hi, this is Atlas16, and today we'll do a guide about the Korean deck that I propose. It's very balanced, very effective, can survive a long time, and pretty much face most dangers. So we'll see what it's about, so the unit that compose it, the rationale around each unit, and then I'll show you live what it does in a pretty lengthy battle. So let's do this. So first of all, I'm using Bonu Command Infantry. So this is a Command Infantry unit. Nothing particular about it other than using a chopper. I guess you can perhaps save a few points if you use trucks, but I guess the chopper is a fairly good and fast way to reach positions. Then I'm using these supply choppers. Pretty standard once again, nothing that different from others, and they do the job as a kind of supply point for you. Then I'm using K511 cargo, once again pretty standard low cost transport, 500-liter supply capacity. Then I'm using the K11CV, so small vehicle, very flexible. In 10 versus 10, I'm not using a tank in this case because I don't think you need that much a tank in most conditions. But anyway, you can choose either that or a tank depending the situation. Okay, so when it comes to infantry, I'm using Haebyung 90. So they have CQB capacity. The rocket launcher has 875 meter range, 22 AP power. These units are really reliable to fight in forest, town, and most situation like that. Speed of 25, which is okay. The transport itself is well armored. You have 3 front armor, which make them able to sustain probably a few artillery hit or airstrike. So this is practical, and this is actually a pretty good unit. It costs 30, but it's worth it. They are kind of like marine essentially. Then I'm using Sochong-su 85. What's interesting about this unit is that once again range of 875 meter for anti-tank. They are your cheap, well, not so much cheap, but inexpensive regular infantry. What's good about it is the KAF-V25, which has a Nato cannon that make them very practical to advance against enemy defense. They are numerous, so you have plenty of them, and they are a good complement to your other force. I'm using the M67 RCL, so in a similar transport here, K200, only a machine gun on that. But this is an anti-tank infantry. It has a good range. But what's interesting also is the HE power, so they are actually able to deal with infantry as well, and that make them kind of useful to move toward the forest where there is potentially infantry or vehicle in it. It's a good striking force for that purpose because you'll be able to kill those infantry at a distance as well as enemy vehicle which are being spotted. You can usually destroy them with your anti-tank. So this is actually one of the best infantry unit to fight in open field, which is kind of special, and you can also put them into towns where they'll be able to defend themselves pretty well. In forest, maybe not the best solution because you only have a strength of 5. That's not particularly high, but it's okay. Here I'm using the USAM Mistral. So these are actually really good against chopper, 2.6 kilometer, which means that you can destroy chopper in most conditions prior to the chopper being able to shoot back at the vehicle near you. This is a very reliable anti-air. It's French technology in this case. I'm using it with the KM 113A1, so machine gun there. but this is clearly a great troop to protect your advance, no matter the terrain kind of situation. So yeah. Then I'm using Ye Big Gun. Okay, so with K200, these are your Korean reservists, and they have bazooka, which is okay, but it's mostly the fact that they are numerous. They are 15 per group. That make them very good to scout ahead and cover your advance in forest and whatever situation. You can scout with them, you have a large amount of them, and when you lose them, it's no big deal, they cost 5. So this is a very good unit to move around with, and they are so numerous that even some specialized infantry against infantry will sometimes have a hard time dealing with them. Also, vehicle will have a hard time because of the number also. They are hard to kill because of the number. So that's it for the infantry. Let's move into the support. So I'm using the KM1110, which has 10 HE power. This is a really good artillery piece. It can kill tank and everything. So yeah, this is literally your big gun. And yeah, it's very good. That's why I'm using it, and as long as you move them around to avoid enemy counter-artillery fire, you're fine. Okay, here I'm using the Korean K263 anti-air. This thing is really good. Look at the range against chopper, 2.6 kilometer. The rate of fire is insane. The autonomy is kind of low, which means you'll need to resupply them. Also, the rate of fire is so high that you will need to resupply them. So these are big consumer of ammo and fuel, but they are probably one of the best Vulcan gun that you can have, and it's a really good stuff. You need some in your army, absolutely, and they are great at shooting down choppers. Then I'm using the K136, which is a MLRS, and that's good to suppress the enemy prior to an attack. There's not much to say about it other than it consumes supplies, of course. It's really mobile, of course, which is good, and it's practical to suppress the enemy and kill a few things. But you only use this in case of an offensive. Otherwise, it's better to avoid using it. The other artillery piece here is probably more appropriate for a specific target. Then I'm using the IOC PIP 2, which is a very good both against chopper and plane. The only downside to that anti-air is the fact that you have a pretty slow speed off-road, so that means you need to stay near the roads if you want to move around quickly. Also, you run out of ammo pretty quick. They heat a lot of supplies, but it's useful mostly when you're sure that, you know, a zone is stable. And if the zone is stable, you know that there won't be a near attack, or if you're on the path of the enemy airplanes, this can be a proper unit to use. But I will say that this is certainly not your main battle line anti-air. This is the kind of anti-air you use only in specific condition. And also you want to be rather close to the path the enemy planes will use, because in many cases, if you fire at the enemy target too far, you will likely miss. So this is a unit which it's not as useful, I will say, as it was in Airland battle, but I think this is the kind of unit that you use in a specific condition where there's not too many seaplanes for one, and there's not too many artillery pieces for two, and also you don't expect any enemy attack on the ground for three. So there's, if you have these three conditions in the game, then you can deploy these and they can serve you well. Other than that, it's best to avoid using them and using the other anti-air. Okay, so I'm using the BHO, which is a no-K anti-air. I'm not sure if it's as good as actually the K263, this one. but it's okay. It has a longer range against chopper. The rate of fire is not as high, which is a bit of a problem. It doesn't have a missile, which is also a bit of a problem, but I guess it's a good complement to your troops. It's just that I find them a little underwhelming. Sometimes I find the K263 more reliable. But if you support an offensive, that can be a good unit to use. Tank. The tank are probably the most important part of the Korean deck, despite the few number of them as you can see here. The Korean use this K1A1 or K1, this other one here. So these tanks are in many ways very similar to Abrams tank. They can take care of all the packed tank. Essentially, you use them like Abrams. They are not as good as the best NATO tank you can have, but if you use them carefully and you manage to move around with them a lot, you can preserve them and they can become a very effective striking force for your army. They're not numerous, that's why the entire rest of the deck is built around them. But this is your main striking force for the Korean. So they are few, but they are good. While here I'm relying on those M48A3K, which are actually very inexpensive, not particularly good, but you can have a large amount of them. You also, I'll give them experience, but that's not necessary. This is like your recon enforced unit. You use them as a complement to your K1, and what you do is you use them to open the path. So you move forward while your K1 are covering them, and as soon as the enemy engage those tanks right there, the K1 will destroy them. So this is like your bait or your decoy. You want to use this to make the enemy reveal himself, or also you might use this for close quarter combat either in towns or in forest, where your K1 will be too precious to be used in. So this is mostly a kind of tank that you will sacrifice. Okay, so recon, I'm using the KF-V90, which is pretty much like an APC with a tank turret on it. So this is a very reliable recon because it does have a good amount of firepower. It's able to deal with a lot of light vehicle and medium vehicle effectively. And since it's a recon, it will likely spot the enemy infantry or vehicles and be able to shoot at them. So that's a good unit to have in. And it only costs 35. The only downside to it is that it only has 2 front armor, side armor, and rear armor. It's also vulnerable to airstrike, but this is an interesting unit to have in your deck. Then I'm using the OH6. This is what I will qualify as a standard recon chopper. It's mostly something you'll use to scout above forest or in certain positions which are away from enemy anti-air. The Korean are not particularly amazing there because they have very good optic instead of excellent. So, but it's okay. It doesn't cost that much. It's very fast, so you can move it where you need it very quickly. But this is certainly not their strength. Okay, here I'm using some Turk Junsa, okay, with the Black Hawk chopper. These are your pretty good recon, very good at sneaking around, good in CQB, have a good anti-tank, kind of limited in range here, but this is not the kind of unit you want to engage against tank. This is a unit which you'll sneak around because they have 30 km/h speed, and they'll be able to remain stealthy, and if engaged they can potentially fight the enemy infantry, but nothing more than that truly. And the chopper allows you to sneak around if needed. So this is a reliable scout unit. Vehicle. So here with the Korean, you have some good choice here. For example, you could use that M18, which I'm not using right now, but this is certainly an interesting unit to use, even though I did not put it into this deck, because you have fast rate of fire, very high speed, doesn't have much autonomy, but it's good at harassing the enemy. But instead here I decided to go with the TOW 2 Jeep, so you have a very good firepower here, AP power of 25, so that means you were able to kill most enemy tank in one shot. They are small, so you can conceal them all over the place. For a defensive war, this is probably one of the best options, and it doesn't cost that much. But this is clearly a kind of unit that you'll use to ambush the enemy, and you should not put them where it's obvious that it's there, and you should also put them where there's a lot of range, because you have a range of 2.6 kilometer. You need to gain advantage of this, and so you need to have a lot of space in front of them to use them optimally. With the choppers, I'm using the AH-1T. This is a very powerful Cobra because it has 25 AP power and a regular loadout. It costs 90, but it's worth it. If there's a tank attack, no matter the tank, it will destroy them. So this is a very good chopper, and it's probably stronger than most Cobras, so this is really worth it. So this chopper right here. I'm also using this MD 500 high tow, so this is not as good, but it's not that expensive. You can sneak it around and it will hit and likely destroy the target. You have very few missiles, but it's worth it because of the flexibility. Okay, for air stuff, the Korean have a very good air force, but yeah, they don't have that much diversity, probably more than most nations, but their air force is just really amazing when you look at it. Now in this case, I'm actually taking advantage mostly of their F4 Phantom planes. So for example here the F4ES, which have 4 Maverick missile, which are fire and forget. What's good about this plane is how you can actually swarm them, and you just call them one after the other and they will engage and destroy a large amount of target, but you only use them in large quantity like that in the condition where you have a good visual on a lot of tank. And if these conditions are reached, well, this is a very good unit to use. And it's really powerful, especially in large number, where you will be able to destroy many powerful units. Then I'm using the F4DS. This one has, well, it has a lot of bombs, but the precision, which is very terrible, to be honest. You will do a good carpet bombing, but on a super long area. So this is the kind of plane which is really effective at clearing forest with a lot of infantry in, or vehicle, light vehicle, where you have no idea where the enemy is, but you just know that there's a lot of them there. So with these, you don't necessarily send them all on the same position. You send them on different zone. So that the entire area will be covered with bomb, and with these you'll be able to potentially either kill or significantly reduce the amount of enemy in there. But the ammo, the precision of it is so bad. I don't think there's any planes which are targeting so badly as this. But it's still useful. I guess you can try different option in the different other planes that the Korean have, but this still do a good job despite the bad precision. Let's say that you don't want to target a single point. If you want to target an entire area, this is equally bad as some artillery, let's say. Then I'm using one group of KF-16C, which are my air-to-air capacity, and the Korean, if you're motivated, you can actually have these and these, which have seed capacity on top, but I guess the KF-16C is the best option. This plane has fire and forget missiles, so aim 120A AMRAAM. These are the best missiles you can have access to. The precision is high and looks 60%. The range is good, and the plane has 40% ECM. This is certainly one of the best unit, and it's a prototype also for air-to-air. You only have 3 of them, but they are worth it. You can either keep them in patrolling and circle behind your line, or you can engage and disengage depending how you do your air war. And usually in 1 or 2 missiles you will shut down the enemy planes. And yeah, that is definitely a great tool in your arsenal. Okay, Navy. Well, I'm not that original. Those that watch my guide will know that part is that I'm pretty standard in my Navy. Well, in this case, I decided to go with the Australian F-11G, so the Aardvark, and with 4 missiles, because you need 4 if you want to manage to beat the CIWS. Then I'm using 2 supply ships, 2 groups, so that's 8 of them, and that's mostly because I will rely a lot on missile in this case. I will use the Atsuyuki because it has a good CIWS, so good chance of surviving 8 missile. And I use a Lafayette, which has a good stealth, great ECM, and okay CIWS, a lot of anti-air, but in this case I don't really think that this deck will be doing much at sea, so that's why I won't interest myself too much about this. So let's go back here, take a good look at this deck, and now let's go check how that works in the real world. So see you there. Alright, so this is a video of me playing with the Korean deck, and in this case it is actually live, so we'll be actually playing this deck. And here what I'm deploying is M48A3K. Some what are these already? So they are Han-Young infantry from the 90s. Yep, and in LVPT TP7, and I helped them with a few K1. I have my cheap command vehicle over here, which I'll deploy over here. So the way I will approach this is that my cheap tank, which are my M48A3K, they will open the path, and I will follow them with my K1, which are much more expensive but much more reliable. I will use my infantry to scout into the wood, and I will try to secure Charlie. So that is the plan. I'm also escorted by some K263. Not really used to all those new units, so that's why sometime I will actually take a look at what I'm actually using. Okay, what else can I bring? I should probably bring well, I'll wait for it to bring more there. We'll bring some cargoes into the forest there. This will allow me to potentially refuel the fuel tank of my tank, but they seem to have a lot of fuel here. Yeah, those Korean tanks actually have a good amount of fuel. They are not that expensive, and yet good amount of fuel. It's always surprising because the Western version of this tank doesn't have that much fuel usually. That napalm strike was dead on. It's time to get out of the road. Unload this infantry because the transport are panicked. And I will bring some reinforcements to repair. While my infantry here will scout ahead. I'll bring some of my choppers over here. I think one thing I'll do is I'll bring some recon units here. There's a good firefight going on here. I'm gonna pull back my infantry because there are not that many. We'll move my inexpensive tank forward. I guess I'll need some airstrike on this position, because there is a lot of stuff in there. I'll pull back my K1 while my other tank will serve as an holding force. As you can see, the accuracy of those bombers is really questionable. I need to replace my lost infantry here. Pulling back my supplies. It really appears that my adversaries are much better equipped. I'm also much more, well, I'm isolated actually. I guess what I'll do is I'll pull back, take some defensive position in that town here. So while here my K1, which are my main fighting force, will be fixed. Yeah, I think I need to pull back from that. Okay, so, well, I'm bringing some infantry here as a way to see what's going on here. I'll wait a little. I'll divide my anti-air so that they cover larger range, and they will also hopefully won't be destroyed in one hit. Here I'll do some random bombardment. I don't think there's that many anti-air. Only saw some machine gun stuff. Okay, well, I did kill a few, but sadly I did not... I lost one plane. I'll bring some recon vehicle. I need some more infantry. I'll bring a lot of inexpensive reservists. Okay, that was an apparent random bombardment. Maybe he just wanted to scout ahead to see what kind of defense I had. I will have to increase my amount of anti-air. It's either that or increase the amount of infantry, I'm not sure. Here my allies seem to be attacking perhaps a little too early. I'll move these reservists forward, scout. Well, here my Mistral will take care of that MI2. There you go. As you can see, this guy quickly reacted to the fact that I bombarded, well, I killed one of his scouts. So here I'll lend some reservists, which will mostly serve me at covering my advance and scouting in that forest, while my tank will hopefully do most of the job. Well, that's kinda ridiculous. As you can see, those planes are really good to do carpet bombing. That kinda tell me that this whole place is safe. I'll bring more recons. Okay, we now know that no anti-air over there are radar guided. I'll move my Mistral again to shoot down those choppers over there. Seem very effective at taking care of these. Yeah, that guy I'm facing seemed to be a really boring micromanager. Okay, well, that place seemed pretty empty. Really don't understand what's shooting me there. But I just did kill something which was worth a lot. I did well to remove my infantry from there. Well, here I should stop exposing my K1 to enemy fire. Nice Su-27. So while this is not a particularly intense beginning, I think it's going well for me so far. My only issue is that I'm starting to be low in supplies for my Mistral. Separate can be dangerous for me. We'll bombard the seal because I'm aware that there's a lot of stuff on it. Apparently I'm not the only one aware of that. Yeah, those adversaries seem to be wasting a lot of their good planes against my units. And right now I'm only using reserve, so that to me, what that means is that I might be losing a good quantity of unit, potentially, but I'm inflicting likely more than what I'm losing. We'll call in more Mistral as well as a few M67, because these are really practical when it comes to suppress enemy vehicle in the edge of a forest, because they can engage the enemy pretty far. By using these vehicles in the forest, they are less affected by those saparies. So as a result, I hope that I'm killing their troops while not necessarily exposing my infantry to it, which seems to be the case right now. I'll move forward now. Also have a couple more recons, not recons, but reserve coming in. Well, my ally are supporting me pretty good with rocket strike and plane strike apparently. Okay, I guess I'll bring some more cheap tank to recon forward. We'll also follow up my advance with some BHO. I'll target the enemy vehicles first. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I should probably pull back these guys. Okay, I'll move some recon over here. I'll load these anti-air. I'm a really big fan of vehicle. Remove my infantry back, my good one, while my reserve will cover their escape. Okay, so what I'll do here is I will move forward with my anti-tank infantry, which have the capacity to actually shoot the enemy infantry as well. So they're anti-tank, but also anti-infantry, which is a good thing. They are very good at clearing out any infantry on the border of a forest, as you can see right now. I will also move my, actually not right now, but soon. I'll move my Mistral in as soon as they recover from this artillery strike. Okay, my troops are moving forward now. Well, my tank have reached me, so it's time to move forward. I should not forget my Mistral back here. Actually, I should wait a little with my K1. And not forget my Mistrals. While keeping in the flow of reservists. I will also move in my BHO, which will cover my advance. You can see those anti-tank infantry are actually very effective at taking care of everything that shows up around. My issue is that my Mistral are not necessarily having a good angle because of the forest. nonetheless, got them. I'll re-engage my infantry over here. I'm risking a little too much my K1, but they seem to be handling themselves pretty good right now. K1 are like Abrams. Very similar. Actually, those Sapri are attempting to damage them without much success. I will remove my K1 of the artillery over there. I will verify if I don't have any infantry around. No, I don't. So I'll bring some. Nope, I did not realize these were actually on tire. Their Spetsnaz don't seem to be having much of a good time. Now my BOs seem to be a little low on fuel, so I'll remove them a little. Well, with my K1 I'll try to kill those Spetsnaz. So as you can see, pretty slow but steady advance. Oh, need to remove my BO from there. And now I need some resupply, so I'll bring some under the form of a chopper. Yeah, I need to pull back my K1. They bring a lot of choppers right now. They seem to be trying to flank me. I think what I'll do is I'll move my K1 over there. Oh, that's trouble right now. My BO are out of fuel. Fortunately, I have those truck over here. I'll try to make my Mistral shoot that Mi-24. Pull back my Mistral over here. I'm a little bit mismanaging my reservist. That guy seemed a big fan of those M24. That was likely an Akula that got my anti-air there. T80U against K1. Let's see who wins. So far I did. Okay, what I'll do is I'll bring more cheap tank, because T80U even at close range pretty much stuck receiving the max damage. That's the issue with all this. Okay, well, let's see. I need more reservists still. Starting to run out of reservists. Got the Akula, which was right there. Got the T80U. T80Us are stunned, so I have a kind of a small edge right now. I will not pursue. I also need to pull back my my supplies over here. I'll bring some more. I guess I'll bring some better infantry now, and I'll try to push forward in there. There's another Mi-24 over there. I'll bring a lot of recon. I'll bring more anti-air. I'll try to shoot down that recon over there. Because he might have an angle on the kind of reinforcements I'm bringing. There you go. But it's clear at this point that I do need to resupply or fix my K1. They took too much damage, I lost 2 of them. So that means pulling back. I'll just check around, see what kind of situation I'm in right now. Seems that our team is pushing well on the far left. So I guess at that point it's probably time to bring a command infantry unit over here. There's no point letting them having more points when we're about to potentially crush them. Okay, now I have some good troops here. Normally with these infantry I should be able to advance probably better or easier. Okay, my remaining K1 are fixed. I should probably bring more. Bring another group. I'll move those reservists over here just to make sure that nothing go by. Well, here I guess I should probably move my troop transport forward to support my troops. Cool. So that zone is no longer theirs. He's using his Mi-24 as a recon. My Mistral is intercepting that. They are very expensive actually. For 85, that's a good price. Okay, now the big question is if they still have those T-80Us in the forest. If they don't, then that's a good opportunity to move forward. If they do, then I need to do something about it. Oh, that hurt. So they still have those T-80Us. Okay, so I seem to be able to move forward now. The ADUs are taken care of. Just another K1. So I'm to move my anti-air forward. And now need to kill those chopper here. Also need to kill those anti-air, which are proving to be a pain. Oh, my K1 is out of ammo and out of everything. He's not even seeing stuff. So I will pull it back to those supply units. While here, these recon tank will take care of everything, hopefully. That was a lot of anti-air rounds. I'll bring some more infantry, because now we need to push into town. We'll also bring some rockets, which I'll deploy nearby. I will need much more anti-air, I suppose. We'll bring some Hawk, which will provide me a long-range support. I still have a lot of Mi-24. I'll bring more tank. I'll send my supplies in the back. order everybody else to move forward. Well, my team seem to be advancing pretty well over there. Okay, so what I'll do is with my recon tank, I'll try to find the unit, the command unit over there. I'll move my Mistral forward over here. Now the issue is that here our ally did not push forward, so you don't really know what's going on in there. Also, I'm not sure if there's any anti-air infantry in there. It seems that right now what they're doing is that they are consolidating their defense. Well, here I'm kinda consolidating my offense, because I do not have sufficient amount of troops to push in here blindly. Have a visual on the command vehicle over there. It's very likely that most of my team are actually busy fighting over there. Because there's not really any reason to not push here. Okay, nice. Got the BMP over there. Not sure what got it actually, but it's very likely my recon units. So I think what I'll try to do is likely attack that position over there. The main danger is potentially a TGM here. And also the lack of fuel at the moment. I guess what I'll do here is I will send my supply vehicle to refuel my troops. So I'm slowly disposing of the different Mi-8. Interesting Buratino. So yeah, I think what I'll do is, first of all, I'll try to secure this place. I have a lot of infantry, and I guess that will be a good way to do it. And they don't seem to have too many missiles. Oh, spoke too quickly. There seem to be a few here. I will bombard this place. That's a bad start of an offensive. I think I should be fine, so I will unload this. Said unload this, there we go. Okay, moving in. Here's the good news, the KAF FV25 is also an okay anti-air. I'm able to suppress the enemy air units. My main issue here was that my infantry wasn't necessarily in the buildings. But these infantry also I'm fighting are Gunnar-Strelski, which are a really good unit. I guess my team offensive over there slow down. Because they seem to be able to turn their attention toward me right now. Just look how long these guys are holding. That's a good testament to how good they are. Sure, I'm not using the best troops ever, but still. Seems that something killed something over there. That's my K1, which are shooting probably reinforcements infantry. They really have a lot of choppers. That is for sure. My tank are moving so fast here that the enemy is shooting missile and missing. Okay, so these choppers are really an issue for me right now. And also, my other issue at the moment is the supplies, which are kind of low. I'm also in a position if where that guy, if that guy or those guys actually don't push forward, I cannot really resupply myself. And also, the adversaries seem very happy to bombard me with a lot of rockets. So globally the supplies seem to have been reduced a little on our side. Well, here we seem to be heading toward making a big push. A lot of Challenger tank. Chieftain. You also have a lot of Challenger covering here. Hopefully that will reduce the pressure a little on me. With some T-80U there. Can be very dangerous. I will destroy those T-80Us. I'm willing to sacrifice 3 planes for that. My supplies here are already empty. Oh, actually, those T-80Us are already dead, probably from some cluster bomb strike. So good for me. But I just wish I was the one taking the credit for it. Actually, are they dead? They don't seem to be. Okay, these are not T-80Us. They're dying rather easily. Here the K-263 are proving their worth against a large amount of enemies. Okay, here on the other end, I'm a little neglecting support to my anti-air against land units. You can see how those Gunnerski actually took out either 1 or 2 K1. Well, the BEHO are actually constantly panicked. They don't seem to be killing that much. There's also the fact that my team doesn't really push much in the center. I'm the only one investing in here. They don't seem to be pushing elsewhere either. I think I will actually bring some command infantry over there and a command vehicle over here, so we will have more points. Not that I need so many. There is some anti-air over here which I'll try to take out with my K1. Those Mistral are really amazing. Their counterattack doesn't seem to be paying off against me. I seem to have lost my Biho, I'm not sure how. Okay, there seem to be a lot of anti-air all over the place. Including here, so our team really did not invest much in securing those places. They only seem buzzy here. I must say I have no idea where I put my Biho. They must have died from something. Bombarding my easy picking APC here. Not too sure why we're not securing this area, or this area. I think I might actually do that. Because it's clear that, to me, that the offensive in the center doesn't seem to be advancing at all. So it doesn't, nobody else help me into it. I have a lot of points. I have 4,000, which I'm not using right now. Okay, so let's see. Moving forward, as you can see here, my K1 are again kind of low on fuel. Oh, fortunate that I did not lose that. Oh, this one on the other end, I lost it. Come on, kill the buck. Yeah, those Gronostrelski are really powerful. I killed another of my K1. Okay, they are stopping me again. Oh, and they are also attacking me here. Interesting fact. Okay, let's see, I need supplies. Where is their supplies? Don't know. I think we're really out of supplies. There seem to be a few here. Okay, just time to pull back those Hawk. It's time to bring a lot of good units, because they're making a push. Which is a very good news. And here I will pull back my force. Get the supplies here. I got my Hawks, unfortunately. It's time to use the approach of a lot of bad units. Actually, not so much bad units, but a lot of units. Airstrike. Okay, I think that's enough. Well, here I'll be rearming. Decided to make a push here, which makes those troops finally useful. Oh, the problem is I'm currently bringing some Apache, but I'm not sure I have the supplies for this. My reinforcements are coming from here. Normally that should not be a big problem. There's only 10,000 points remaining. I still haven't used many of my troops. For example, the K1, A1, I haven't used that yet, so I'll call it in. We'll call more tank. Make a kind of a counterattack. Do need some anti-air, I'll bring that. Korean anti-air is really effective. I'll move all my supply over there to make sure that they are well refueled. Well, here I'll make a long line of infantry to ensure that there's nothing remaining. Our force seem to be advancing a little. Guess I can help them a little. That was a bad idea. Oh well, gives me some space to replace that. Something more adapted. And the rest of the front has been extremely static so far. The only one making some action in the center. So there is so many units on the battle that it's starting to lag. I think I will waste my fighter and I'll use it to scout for enemy anti-air. Oh well, that went okay. And replace everything I lost. Okay, so I'll move my first wave of tank here, which will be followed by my K1 right here, which I'm not sure what they'll do with that. So what I'll do is carpet bombing of that forest over here to open the way to my troops, or my tank actually. I don't know what that was, but I killed something. Now let's move through. And the battle is over. So let's see how well that went. That was pretty lengthy. So I did 8,579 points, and I lost 7,000, which means I'm pretty even in that fight. But considering I was the only one attracting attention in the center, I guess that went well. If we look at the what did what, you can see the effectiveness of the K1, a lot of units. And here as well, K1 here as well. So these are like Abrams, similar stats. The bombers F4, lots of kill. Those Mistral turned out to be extremely effective against those chopper. And then let's see, F4 again. My infantry, these are regular infantry. They did kill a lot of troop transport. 1SU, 27M. These are my reserve, killed a few. These are my anti-tank infantry. I probably should have used these more because they are really good at clearing the outskirts of a forest while attacking. K1 here, this one, K1 actually killed 3 T-80Us, so that's very good. That BHO did kill a lot of chopper, plus MiG-29. The Mistral did kill a lot of chopper also. These are troop transport, very effective also. Troop transport, no, actually these are recon tank. They did kill a few. K1 once again, a lot of kills. K1. K1. So you see the K1 is very good, look at that. More here. More here as well. Anti-air here, choppers. F4, this is toward the end. All those small tanks that came in, a lot of them were killed by my planes, so this is pretty much the ending of the battle. Mostly lost my stuff to Motostrelsky, Buck, PTR, Motostrelsky, Sappery, IL 102, a lot of reservists were lost. Some key, and we have BTRs, Conquer, Spetsnaz, MI-24, Spetsnaz. So I mostly lost my stuff to light unit. The T-80Us here are actually killed 2 K1 and 1 BHO before being destroyed here. They also did kill a few of my M48 20 points tank, so that was okay. Sturm did inflict a lot of loss also to my recons. Uragan killed a lot of my troops here, MI-24 also. That's probably what happened when I did an offensive on the village. Lost a couple of these, I'm not sure what that is. But as you can see, a lot of loss. And ultimately what proved to be the killing machine of the Korean deck was those K1 tank, which are similar to Abrams. So you can see that they are really standing out in terms of effectiveness. So that was a pretty good round. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you on my next guide. So see you there.